Okay, how's this? Can you guys hear me now? Yeah, I think you can. I'm seeing the sound bars. Okay. Yeah, this is so weird. There was an update for OBS, and I guess they messed up my thing for the mic, but that's good. So you can hear me okay. Let's see. That looks like on Twitch you can hear me okay. Anybody on YouTube? Strawberry King or Emerx? Digital media, 3D digital media, if you guys can, or media digital, sorry. If you guys can hear me, let me know. And I'm assuming everybody can see my screen. So, I'll just say like, subscribe, leave a comment, do all the internet things. And yeah, let's just move on to the next thing, which is our ZBrush model. Okay, so we can hear me on YouTube as well. Okay, good. Goodness galore. One other thing I want to do real quick is just, if you guys don't mind waiting a second, I just want to check my speed here just to make sure that I am broadcasting at a good speed. It should be fine. My bandwidth is getting better and better. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, no, I'm good. I am good. This is great. All right, so we got somebody from Brazil. Hello, Brazil. Nice to have you with us. And thank you, Mandras. Yeah, so you can see how we got here all the way from when we started. So yeah, definitely check out the previous screens if you want to see how we got here. And yeah, where is, that's weird. Okay, let me just check one more thing here. I swear I'm almost there. Here we go. All right. Yeah, so you can check how we got here, and I do have an ArtStation, I do have an Instagram. So I guess this would be a good time to talk about those two things. Sorry to start off with a promo, but here we go. So the best thing to do, my webpage is kermaco.com, so kermaco.com, and that's where you can see all of my stuff. And yeah, so you can see all like my Mech designs. You can kind of filter it that way and everything like that. Also, where I post a lot of new stuff, so is my Instagram page, and here is something that I did in ZBrush and rendered a few days ago. So you can kind of see all of my work here. But in addition to that, if you go up here, there's my link tree. On my Instagram. So the best thing to do is follow me on Instagram. That's where you'll get the latest and greatest news. I don't have the bandwidth to do all the socials, but I definitely am on Instagram. But if you click on my link tree, this links to my portfolio, my Gumroad, my Instagram, my ArtStation, my YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Most LinkedIn I'm getting more and more into just because it's like the thing to do. But you can see all my stuff here. And also I've got a Gumroad, and let me point that out real quick, where I have my primitives ZBrush that you can download. I've got a free version you can download. You can download my UI colors, and that's free as well. And I also have a version of the ZBrush that has some extra brushes, so like all the way to here is what you get. This actually is an older image, excuse me, but you get a lot more insert mesh brushes. Primitives if you purchase this one, but again, they're not all necessary. These are nice to haves, and I use them all the time, but you might not need them, so you can just pick up the free version. Okay, so much for that, and hopefully that answers that question. Yeah, check out my stuff. I post a lot of work all the time, and a lot of it doesn't really make it to the ArtStation or my main page. But one of these days I will put it on my calendar and update it with some of the new stuff I've been working on. So anyway, this guy over here, it was basically, for those of you that are just now tuning in, this was an AI image that I generated with disco diffusion. So this was done a long time ago when disco diffusion was like the AI thing to do. And of course now it's stable diffusion and Midjourney and all these other ones, which I've also dabbled with, and they're a lot of fun. But also daunting in a lot of ways, because there's a lot of people that are, they're kind of worried about AI and what it's going to do. So a lot of those thoughts are valid, and I'm sure there's healthy discussions going on back and forth. I just want to make sure artists get their due and that we are still viable in the workforce. But also, I don't want to quelch a technology that has a lot of promise. So hopefully there will be some sort of a resolution to all that. Anyway, off my soapbox, back to here. So basically I generated this image, and I thought this would be a really cool mech to make. So I basically just said, all right, well, what if I am looking at something that is AI? And what if I want to maybe make that in 3D? So we started in episode 1, and we're about 14 episodes in. We're getting pretty close to finishing up the modeling. I noticed here that there are some things that I want to change again on the arm, but I want to get this thing pretty much buttoned up either today or by the next stream at the latest. But I think I'm kind of at the point where I want to start loading this into Cinema 4D first, go Z it to Cinema 4D, and then render it in Redshift. And that's going to be my goal. One other thing I should also mention is I apologize for not being on a couple of Fridays ago. I think I removed it from the calendar, but if you guys were expecting it because I'm on every other Friday, you probably tuned in and I wasn't there. And that's because Lightbox Expo was going on in LA here, and I was at that. So I knew I wouldn't be making it back in time to do this. So I just wanted to make sure that I postponed it or canceled it for that day. But I will be on, of course, today and the Friday after. And also, I should mention that I am presenting at the ZBrush Summit this year. It's a great honor to be able to do that. Let me bring up the... sorry to start this one off with a bunch of promotional stuff, but I'm sure you'll be interested in it. ZBrush Summit is a pretty cool event. It happens once a year, and it's happening November 13 to 16. And let me see if that actually is a day that I would be streaming on. So let's see, the 11th I'll be streaming. So that's before. So that's good. I'll be streaming before that, and the 25th. So yeah, I'm going to be streaming around it, and I also will be presenting during it. So if you want to see the presentation, you can presentations. You can click on events. There's some really cool stuff this year, as always. Every year, it's such a kind of a good brain dump. So this year, it's again 3 days of presentations, and there's also the sculpt off. So you guys should participate if you can. And so here's all the different dates. So 13th is the sculpt off, and then Monday looks like there's stuff about dentistry, ZBrush and dentistry. I don't know if that's your thing, but I'm sure it's pretty interesting. And then I think something about Dragon Skeleton, Sideshow's doing a gig, Bungie, Love, Death, and Robots. I mean, just amazing stuff. And then God of War characters from Sony Santa Monica. Chaos Masons, Marco's doing his thing, which I'm sure will be mind-blowing, and I can't wait to see it. There I am, so I'll be following Marco. And after me comes Pixar. And then from ZBrush to Bronze, this is kind of a neat one too. So all of these would be great. And also all of these will be on the YouTube channel, ZBrush's YouTube channel, and you can watch them afterwards if you're not able to watch them live. But I highly recommend you watch them live because you can ask questions and there'll be prizes. It's always a great thing to watch. So I just wanted to kind of give that a plug. And also there's a ZBrush presentation at the end, and we can see kind of what's coming to ZBrush in the future. So yeah, tune in. Definitely tune in. It'll be fun. All right, that's out of the way. Let's get to the meat of it here. All right, so looking at this mech, I basically just want to tighten things up a bit. I think most of the major stuff is done, so I'm just going to tighten things up a little bit. We did a little bit of coloring last time, and maybe we'll do a little bit more today. And I think, and today I can only be on for 2 hours because I've got to get back to work. It's been really busy. As you can see here, I haven't done a lot of stuff on this. Just because work has been super busy, and which is always a good thing, but I also enjoy doing these, and that's why I do the stream. As a matter of fact, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who also is an amazing artist, and he was telling me that he was kind of getting a little bit burned out at work with some of the stuff that he's doing, and I told him, hey, why don't you stream? You know, it's a good way to kind of do your own personal work and also be detached from just kind of doing work stuff all the time. So believe me, this is a highlight of my week, and happy to be here with all of you guys. All right, let's see. If you guys have questions, please ask away. I'll be working away here, and then I'll be glancing at chat every now and again. And if you guys have questions, just holler. I'll be more than happy to answer them. I can go off on tangents. That's fine. That's part of me being part of this community. Always want to be helpful and always want to be upping the skill level and also the educated stature. I'm looking for a good way to say this of the ZBrush community. And lucky to have this be worldwide. All right, here we go. I think adding that little bit of a cut line there really added more to that. Kind of figure out how to work it here. Doing cut lines is an art of its own. It really is. And I'm just using good old Damien standard brush for this. And you can see here I'm just reinforcing it on both sides. It would have been a good idea to do a morph target of this when I started, but I'm just going to trust in my ability to just nail it. All right. Right, so anything on chat? Nope, no questions. We got quite a few of you on there. By the way, so one of the things that I do at the beginning of these streams is I go and look at the list of people that are subscribed. Not subscribed, but like that are watching. And this time around, there were so many bots. I had to do a big bug squash and get rid of all of them before I started. Yeah, that was kind of a bit of an adventure, and hopefully that's not going to be an ongoing thing. Hopefully, I think a lot of these are from YouTube, so hopefully YouTube will get their act together and block some of these people that are botting things up. All right, so I've got mirroring on, so whatever I'm doing on one side is happening on the other as well. I will go in and put in some alphas today as well, but let me do this real quick. I think you guys have seen this image enough. I'm just going to go ahead and hide it, so all we see here is my model. And one of the things Marco does that I really like is he just kind of creates a snapshot of the model here to kind of give an idea of what we're working on. So I'm going to do that as well. So instead of looking at that picture, I'm going to find a nice angle for this and just snapshot it and just leave it there. So as we're working on this, you can kind of see that snapshot in the corner. All right, so that's looking good. And I'm also going to hide some of these other parts here that are just kind of clogging things up for now. So that I can just work on that piece. So right now this top piece is what I'm working on. This is looking super polygonal. I think it's probably at a pretty low, yeah, it is a really low subdivision level. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see if I can solo this out and see what its story is. It looks like it does have some topology, but oh, here we go. Okay, so it does have one level of subdivision. I'm just going to go in here with the ZModeler brush. let me get rid of that subdivision. Well, actually, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and go to level 1. And all right, that's good. And then just add a, yes. Right, so I'm just basically adding some supporting edges here. Maybe I don't even need to do that. Maybe I'll just use dynamic subdiv with QGrid and add a QGrid of maybe 1. And let's get that coverage to be, and let's just chamfer it. I don't want to bevel. Let's see what we can get here. Let me just stick with 1. And let me stick with, let's see, the coverage, just a little bit of a bevel. I think will do wonders to the shape. Let's see what that looks like. It looks better. And so I'm just going to go ahead and accept this, apply that. And then I'm going to use the, I guess I have it here in my brushes. Do I have it here? I do. All right, I'm just going to do a bevel here and just add a bevel right over here like this. I should use a bigger brush for that. That's a bit too much. I'm going to do it a different way by using masking. So I'm just going to mask this part off like that. And I don't know if I have enough resolution. Maybe, yeah, maybe I need to add a little bit more resolution to this. So let's just subdivide it once and then mask it. I see some questions in the chat, so give me a minute. Let me do this part and then I will jump on and see what your questions are. Right, I still don't think I have enough resolution, so I'm going to divide it one more time and mask it again. And let's give this a last thing here. I think that's looking a little bit more like what I want it to look like. And let's give it a little bit of a polish and that. It's a pretty little divot. I guess I didn't have symmetry on, but no worries. We can always do this mirror. Of course not. And I can do it a different way, which is select this one, delete hidden. That's going to want me to be at the low subdivision level, which is fine. And delete hidden. Where are you? Here you are. And now I'll just mirror and weld it. Oh, that doesn't work either. Right, well, how about if I do this? I'll just go to the high subdivision level, delete lower, mirror and weld. And also, after that, I'll just reconstruct the subdivision levels. Do I have a button for it? I do. And let's continue to do that. So I can go all the way to level 5. There we go. So now I've got subdivision levels. And that's always good because if I need to UV it, I probably won't need to UV it. So I'm probably good the way it is. And now, so I don't have that problem again, let me make sure I turn on activate symmetry and do some more masking. I need the mask lasso for this. Like that. I swear I'm going to get to your questions. Just give me a few more minutes. Kind of I'm in the zone. Oh, that's not going to work. And let's do that. I'm totally botching this up. All right, let me do this correctly. I'm going to start here and go this way. There we go. Then just move this over like that. Okay, and then I'm still on that bevel brush, so I'm just going to do this and create a bevel on this side as well. That just adds a lot more visual interest. It's not balanced really, so I am going to balance it out. Right, I'm going to go to the edge here. Go to the edge here. Here we go. Now that's more balanced. Do this. Just smooth it out a little bit. And I think that's good. Just kind of judging from where it's looking, it won't look so kind of just popped in there. This thing over here could use some subdivision levels. So let me do that. Yes. That's good. But I kind of like the faceted, so I'm going to go somewhere in between. So here I'm going to go turn off dynamic. And I'm going to turn off smooth, divide it once this way, and then turn smooth on and divide a couple of times that way. Now, I think I'm going to divide it even one more time without smooth. So divide, divide, and then divide, divide. Okay, here we go. So now it's got a little bit of that faceted look, but it's kind of smoother as well. And then adding a couple of cut lines on that would help also. So let me just solo that thing out. And let's see, what is the best way to add cut lines to this? I guess let me store a morph target. All right, let me answer questions first. Okay, that's the, okay, everybody's saying hi, so there really no questions. Do you also make hard surface environments on ZBrush? Yeah, I can make hard surface. I mean, I work hard surface, organic, all sorts of stuff. Like if you, I mean, I'm known for hard surface, which is kind of tough because people think I don't do organic, but I mean, this is kind of an organic sculpture. So that's organic, and then if I scroll down here a little bit, here we go. Here's another organic face that I did in ZBrush. So I do organic as well as hard surface. Do I do environments? I do. I think I have one in here, but that's from Kitbash parts. I'm kind of, yeah, looking to see, like, I mean, I guess you can consider this thing, this kind of cave or housing for the Mech as being hard environment, hard surface. Here we go. This is kind of an environment that I created for the Mech, this kind of tree setting for it to be hiding in. Let me see if I've got any others. I mean, this is kind of an environment that I created in ZBrush. It's kind of like a Blade Runner cartoon thing that I was doing, where this is kind of the Tyrell building, and here's the spinner coming into it. So yeah, you can totally do environments. You can do hard surface. You can do organic. You can do pretty much anything you want. And that's why I kind of like ZBrush a lot, because you can do everything you want to do. So for this, I stored a morph target. I'm going to use the chisel brush for this. So BC, chisel, where are you? There you are. And let's use this one. And let's just kind of draw a line this way. Bam. Whoa, way too thick. Way too thick. Let's try it this way. Nope, that's too small. And I think I might need, how many subdivision levels do I have on this thing? 5? Yeah, I do have enough. Maybe a couple more. Let's see, here we go. Maybe one more. Let's go to 8. There, that's exactly what I want, but not so intense. So I'm going to reduce the Z intensity just about there. And here we go. All right, so let's look at this in context. Let's see if I can go edge to edge. Now this upper arm is kind of in the way, so I can hide that as well. Arms too, here we go. And now I can just, well, that's interesting. Something weird is happening over here where it's being cut off. And I think it's because this is interfering with it. So let me fix that real quick. Here we go. Let me make sure symmetry's on. So we do it on both sides. And here we go. That does it. Yeah. And then maybe bring this one out just so it's kind of some sort of an arm ring or something that it's got. There. All right. Now it's much better. Go back to maybe fix this a little bit. Like so. And go back to here. And go back to the chisel brush. And go back to drawing the outline. Whoa, change my brush size again, of course. I say brush size, but the real term is draw size. Here we go, that's exactly what I wanted. Let's do one here too, like that. And then let's extend that down and around. I think I need to make my lazy radius a little bit more. I'm at lazy step is good. Maybe lazy radius a little bit higher. All right, here we go. There's that, and there is, oops. that like so. And then let's move this over. No, I don't know if I want to do that. All right, I'm just going to blur this a little bit just to hide that transition. And again, I'm probably not going to be zooming in on that too much, so it'll be fine. Of course, I don't have symmetry on again. I need to make sure I have symmetry on. All right, let's just start over. Symmetry. I mean, I could, it's easy enough to just kind of copy it over, but I kind of want it to do this cleaner. Another thing I'm going to do here, which is a neat trick, is with lazy mouse, you can turn on lazy snap. So I'm going to bump that up to like maybe about, let's go to 100. And what that does, I just want to go right to the beginning of when I start adding those lines, which is right there. And what that does is it allows me to continue it, so I won't have that problem that I had earlier, which is I'm going to start drawing this, and then when I come over here, it's going to pick it up right where it left off, which is really nice. But I need to get this at a better angle here, like so, and do this, and do this. Now matching them on both sides is going to be an adventure, but not a bad one. Let's do this like so. Again, it's going to pick it up right where it left it and bring it over here. I think one of the things that I did, so I'm going to do this again, do it one more time. One of the things I did here is as I was trying to change the lazy radius, I changed the lazy step. So I'm going to change the lazy step to let's try 0. It's okay, but let's see. I wonder what the default is for that. Let's see if what's 1 like. That's 1, which is, oh, wait a minute. That's kind of cool. Happy accident here. I think I'm going to go for this instead. So I'm going to change my lazy step to even 2, or let's see what 3 looks like. Yeah, that's what we want. So I think 2.5 would be a good one to go with. I mean, probably 2 is better. Let's go with 2. And let's do this. How cool is that? And I want to see it in context of everything else. So let's see how that looks. It's a bit too small. I can go bigger. And this is way too big, but also very cool. And I wonder what it would look like if I went this way. So lazy snap is trying to snap to my last point. I need to get further away so that doesn't happen. Oh yeah, look at that, nice. And then I'll do another set over here. Start this way. Yeah. That added 1 extra one, of course, but we don't want that. Come on. All I want is 3. That's kind of cool. All right, new happy accident, new way of doing something. Yeah, it's great when you get happy accidents. It's awesome when you get happy accidents. It's just like one of these things where it's a happy accident and you know something new that you can apply in your future work. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. Maybe 2 this way, and there's that. Okay, that looks a lot cooler than those dots, so I'm just going to go with that look. And I'm probably going to be using this all over the place now. Okay, so starting from here, I think that looks good. There's a weird kind of angle here, but I think I'm just going to add an alpha there. So let me just switch to Damien Standard and go to this piece. Just tighten this thing up a little bit. I'm going to reset this brush to its default real quick. Reset current brush. And I'm going to also turn off lazy snap to that. All right, cool, cool, cool. And yeah, so I think I'm just going to put an alpha over here in a little bit, and alphas will definitely kind of make things look a lot better in a few minutes. All right, those will be yeah, those will definitely kind of add more to this, to these pieces. All right, so there's that, and then let's look at how this is attaching. I like the way it's attaching over here, but on the inside it's kind of wonky, so let's fix that. And get something more kind of believable with the design, and something wonky is happening in this corner. Fix all these little inconsistencies here. All right, you guys are not asking too many questions. Let's see what happened in the past few weeks. If you guys aren't watching Andor, it's so good. Star Wars the way I want it to be. Like, just serious. It's like Rogue One, which arguably is the best Star Wars movie. Although there's no Jedis, and I mean, I guess there is. Darth Vader comes in with a lightsaber at the end. Sorry, I'm spoiling it for 2 people who haven't seen it yet. But yeah, Andor is really good. If you guys haven't watched that, I highly recommend it. Especially the last episode was really, you know, kind of answers a lot of questions as to how things are in that universe. The designs are good. The tone is good. I love that show. Whoever is directing that should be directing all of the future Star Wars stuff. I mean, Mandalorian's good. It's like a Western or whatever, but Andor is kind of what Star Wars should be, in my humble opinion. All right. What else? What else? What else? The Lord of the Rings thing finished, and so did the dragon thing. And both of those were good. Why is this not doing anything? Hello, solo. Yep. Smashed? No. All right, here we go. Is this on dynamic? It is. Oh, look at that. Low res. Let me just subdivide this a couple of times. Here we go. Man, quite a few people watching. Hello, 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 everybody. Thank you for joining me on this little journey. And hopefully you're learning something new that you didn't know, and enjoying me making this mech. All right. I think I'm going to subdivide it one more time. And it's going to be wild because I'm going to have to load all these higher level subdivisions into Cinema and then get it into Redshift. But it's going to be cool when that happens. Redshift is an awesome renderer. I mean, I render in Keyshot most of the time, and I am enjoying some of the capabilities of Redshift as well. Both amazing renderers, both really, really cool. And what a great choice to have between those two amazing renderers. All right. All right, let's see. Oh, some comments. What's new to ZBrush in the last 4 months? There was an update, so I don't know if you guys can see it. I think my banner is on top, but the latest version is 2022.0.6. And what they did in that one is made it so that you can work more seamlessly with Cinema 4D. GoZ works a lot better. and some other things too. I don't know exactly, but nothing really feature-wise. But I'm hoping, like everybody else, that they're going to say something about what's going to be happening in the future at the ZBrush Summit. So keep tune in for that to get more updates. And yeah. Warrior Maddie, hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining us. Ritika Govind, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Hello as well. Rings of Power is getting hate? Really? Man, how could it be getting hate? It's so good. It is so good. Like, to be in that world again and kind of see some backstory. I think people just are in hate mode. That's what the internet is. It's just a, it's just a hate fest. People wake up in the morning like, what can I hate today? I think people feel more important if they hate on something than if... because hating on something is easy, right? You just hate on it. Liking something, you have to know something about it. I mean, I don't like people who blindly like stuff either. Don't get me wrong, but come on. Rings of Power is good. Some of the shots in that show, oh my god. Like the ships, the armor. Yeah, no, I was pretty stoked. Looking forward to season 2. Same thing with the Targaryen thing. What's it? Something of the dragons, or forget the name. Game of Thrones, I guess is what I should call it. That was good too. Kind of sorry to see those two go, but there's some new stuff starting. Andor is really kind of... I'm going to be sad when that's over. But I think it's got quite a ways to go still. And yeah, so that's looking good. Like, I'm really digging how this is happening. I will put some alphas in here to kind of make this transition a little bit more kind of believable, but it's looking good. Wow. Okay. Place to ask, but I know ZBrush moved to Maxon, but not saying in the app that it's licensed, even though the site says you have the legacy version. Any clue what that's about? Comet Reapers. So yeah, a while back, it's been a while, I don't know, 9-10 months or whatever. Maxon acquired Pixelogic. So now Pixelogic, or what used to be Pixelogic, ZBrush, is now part of the Maxon family of products. And it is part of Maxon One subscription, so you can get a Maxon One subscription. And I don't know if people know this or not, but if you are a student or a teacher, it's pretty inexpensive. You can get the whole Maxon One subscription for like a few dollars, like $9 or something like that. It's like ridiculously inexpensive. So if you're a student or a teacher, you can get it with Maxon One as a subscription. But if you have a perpetual license, you can still get it that way as well. So if you want to get a perpetual license, you can still buy that. And also, you can get it as its own subscription. So you can just subscribe to ZBrush only. You don't have to have it be part of the Maxon subscription. So they have a lot of ways you can get it. And I think people were really kind of freaked out about Maxon buying them, or I don't think they bought them. I think they kind of merged with them. But that kind of was a major, hater fest, just like things happen on the internet. But personally, I think it's good because it's going to do some great stuff by integrating into what some of the Maxon solutions are. And I don't really think it's going to be detrimental. I think it's actually going to be a good thing, personally. But, who knows? All right, what's happening to this here? Oh, is this Dynamesh? It can't be. It is. That's wild. All right, I'll have to retope it at some point. Oh, that's not good. All right, so kind of a good learning thing is I want to Dynamesh this, but I don't want that resolution to go down. So what I'm going to go here is go into Geometry, Dynamesh, and for the resolution, it's got 2048 here, but I'm going to pick whatever this is. So notice here that the resolution went quite a bit up, and now I'm going to Dynamesh it, and then now it's going to be just exactly the way I want it. It's not in dynamic subdiv mode. I am on H-polish. I want to be on Damien standard, and I want to do this. Okay. All right. Thank you, Emerx. Comet Reapers, kind of bummed. I spent 1K to use it for a month. I don't know what you mean for that. I mean, just to use ZBrush for a month, or the whole subscription, the Maxon 1 subscription. I'm not sure. I don't know why I'm talking about this. I don't know about subscriptions and licensing and stuff. I'm sure the folks from Pixelogic can answer those questions for you. They stream as well. You can ask them. You know, I think if you are looking to get it, I think you should definitely look at all your options, weigh them, ask questions, and don't waste your money. Especially nowadays, it's hard to come by. All right, let's see. Chill WCat, I don't know what that is, but that's pretty cool. I don't know if it's maybe for an emoji. I'm going to let this auto-save while I read all your rest of your stuff. Okay, so the bot's saying that ZBrush Live is on. That's great. Elijah Chems, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, so the fellow with the Korean name, I will answer that question for you. I think I know exactly what's happening, and I'm going to take a stab at answering your question in just a minute. Let me finish the rest of this. Any hard surface retopology after modeling? Sometimes I do, yeah. Saravok, Bat Spawn. Yeah, I do retopologize it sometimes, and I might do that for some of these parts. Oh, you bought a license? Well, if you bought a license just before they bought it, I think that's a good idea. Because, I mean, it actually doesn't make a difference because it's the same price. Nothing has changed. If you buy ZBrush now, it's the same price. If you buy a perpetual license, it's the same price it was before they sold to Maxon. So that shouldn't make a difference. Okay, so the masking question that you have, as soon as this autosave ends, I will answer it for you. In the meantime, I'll take a swig of tea. Down with cup 1, on to cup number 2. Wow, this is taking a little bit of time. Yeah, it transfers over just fine. Like nothing's changed. You know, I've owned ZBrush since 2005. I'm actually pretty lucky because I paid like, I don't know, $500-600 for it, and I haven't had to pay for upgrades. You know, that's something that I've been lucky about. And if they do charge for upgrades from this point forward, I'm sure they'll be adding some amazing features that will be well worth the amount of money you're going to be paying. Whether they will go to subscription only mode, I don't know. So that's something that we will find out about later on. But I don't think, you know, I don't think there are any, I mean, personally, I haven't heard of any different things in that aspect. So as far as I know, it's just business as usual, the way it was before. Nothing has really changed. Okay, so the subdivision and masking questions. So let me just go to a sphere here, like that. Okay, so here's the sphere, right? And let's say I'm going to Dynamesh this, or ZBrush the sphere, why not? Okay, so I'm just going to go in here and go under, oh, this is not actually geo. Let me see if I can find some geo somewhere. I guess I don't have any, right? I can just make one. That's fine. So I'll just start with this thing right here and initialize it as a sphere. So initialize as a Q sphere. There it is. And let's add some subdivisions for it. No, Control D, 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 da, da, da. Right. So there it is. Right. Suppose I've got this shape, and I want to create kind of a hard surface separation in the middle. Let me go back to normal mask here, like that. Right, and what I want to do is I want to extend this out and maybe make this part smaller, like that. Okay, so now if this part here is masked, and I go ahead and subdivide this, okay, so if I go to Control D and subdivide, okay, so it actually is telling me this. Do I have more? Yeah, I've got 4 subdivision levels. So if I go and hit Control D here, it says it will only be modified at the lowest subdivision level. Okay, so I either need to switch to the lowest subdivision level or delete or freeze subdivision history. So let's say I do go down to the lowest subdivision level, right? And suppose, well, actually, here, let me do this. I'm going to actually delete the lower subdivision levels. So this is the lowest subdivision level. And I'm going to go ahead and mask what I had masked before. Okay, so here, if I subdivide, what you will notice is that the bottom part got subdivided, but the masked part did not get subdivided. So it's still faceted. So I can subdivide this yet one more time. And if I look at the topology here, notice that the bottom topology is subdivided, right? So here you're seeing all these different subdivision levels, but up top where it's masked, it is still faceted, right? And it's basically creating a lot of this kind of you know, a lot of these poles here that basically will cause you issues. So what you want to do is, if you want to, you know, kind of be able to mask or, you know, keep this part masked, what you can do here is you can select this part, and I'm hitting Control W, which is the same thing as going under polygroups and saying group visible, or where is it? Group visible, this one right here, right? Or and then now you'll notice that this top part has its own polygroup. So here I can go ahead and subdivide this, and the whole thing subdivides, and subdivide it again, and the whole thing subdivides. Then I can select this top part as a polygroup, like that, mask it. So now that stays masked, and then this part is not masked. And then if I like want to make some modifications to this bottom part, I can go in here and maybe I want to make this thing a bit flatter, like that. And maybe I want to do some other effects to it, like maybe flatten this top part like that. So I can do that, and I have the subdivision levels. I can do all that part, and I've basically created this cool shape. Actually, I'm going to keep this shape because maybe I can use it somewhere. It's pretty cool. Hopefully that answers your question. And I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name because it's written in Korean, and I don't read Korean. So yeah. All right. What is my tea of choice? Just a good black tea, like English breakfast teas are good. Every once and again, I like Earl Grey. Warrior Mandy, that's great. Val Bullen, hi, how's it going? Jax, you can do ZBrush. You should, if you've never used ZBrush before, there is a free version called ZBrush Core Mini that you can get, and you can try it out. And then if you like it, you can upgrade to ZBrush Core, and then if you like that, you can upgrade to the full ZBrush. So yeah, check it out. And then okay, great. So that answered your question. Awesome. If you can you type your name phonetically in English, and I can say your name? Val Bullen, what's beer? I like it. Beer is good every once in a while. I don't think I've ever had a cup of beer during this thing. Probably because it will get warm, and I like my beer cold. All right, let's get back to where we were, here and here. So I think this is good. This piece here is good. Now the transition over here, I kind of want to create a bit of a border around this. So I don't know what the best way to do it is. One of the things that I kind of don't know, and if anybody does here, let me know, but is there a way to mask this piece? So this one right here. I want to mask this one with the border of what's here. And I think there was a thing that they made called something masker, plugin, subtool masker or something like that, but I don't think it works. Where are you? Intersection masker, this thing right here. Like, let's see if, I don't know, let's see if that works. I'm gonna use that, create intersection mask. Okay, great. Doesn't work with subdivision levels and doesn't give you instructions. I'll look into it, but I guess I'll just have to do it manually, or I can just kind of maybe go to this tool here and just manually add a little bit of a border. Let's see what that would look like. All right, I'm going to just turn this to Z add. And just see if that kind of does it justice. No, it's not doing what I want. Another thing I could do, let me see if this works. Is there a mask curve pen? There it is. Nope. Mask, lasso, mask curve. Let me see if this works. So it's going to mask what's on this side. Let's see if I can do this. Right, that masks everything on that side. Let's see what that looks like. That's good. And then do the opposite of unmasking this part. Oh, yeah. That's, let's see. Let's see if this works. Well, it's going to unmask everything there. Yeah, I don't think this is going to do it, but it at least gives me half of it over here, and I can do the other one manually. That's cool. So to do it manually, I'm just going to go back to mask pen, choose a big brush. Do the exact opposite of what I did. And let me try and see what kind of damage I can do with mask lasso. So basically what I'm doing here is I am using the mask lasso, and let me get this light to be a little bit straighter. So here this will mask whatever I am selecting, but if you hold Alt down it will unmask. Right, and then let me go to mask pen again. I wish there was a oops, that's not what I want. Mask pen. I wish there was a very fast way to go between mask lasso and mask pen. That would be really, really cool. There's some weird kind of points here that are not getting masked. I don't know why. Is it the Z intensity of the mask that went down for some reason? Here we go. All right, so now I've masked these parts. What I'm going to do is give this thing a little bit of an inflate, and let's see if I can do that. And if that's going to do what I want it to do. kind of, sort of. I think I might need to just go in there and put in the number for inflate. So let's just say put in 1 and maybe one more. Yeah, that did it. So that I just kind of want that little bit of a lip over there, like that. And with smooth, that will do exactly what I want it to do. So it's not just kind of a bland transition. There's something there that says that, okay, this is kind of attaching somehow into there. All right. And again, I'm kind of nitpicking. I probably should move on. All right, that's that. So let's see. This thing kind of got intersected in. So let's go to the move brush and move that out. Like so. Maybe not that much. I don't know what happened to this thing. Like maybe inadvertently moved it or something. I don't know. I kind of like just keeping this the way it is. So I'm just going to reduce this down to maybe one of these things. Like that. And the bottom part. Is Dynamesh or is this Geo? What is it? It is Geo. All right. That's cool. Let's see, we got some stuff going on. Somebody's typing in Russian, which I don't understand. Okay, Lee Sang Ju. Okay, Lee Sang Ju, awesome. That's how I will pronounce your name, so I'm glad that worked out for you. The fellow that typed in Russian, I'm going to put that in Val Bulin. I'm going to put that in Google Translate, see what you're saying. Hopefully it's not profanity. Be funny if it is. Catwin knew little about the cream, but learned a lot about the restoration of the drawing. No problem. Okay. Is that a saying or something? I'm not clear as to what you're trying to say. It would be funny if there was a saying that involved a Catwoman. I actually have started a Catwoman sculpt that I have not finished. But it's there, and I will one day. I think I showed it even in one of the streams. I'm not sure. I might have, I might not have. Yeah. So Halloween is coming up, and I was thinking of today's stream. I would do a, you know, like just kind of do a one-off and do like some sort of a Halloween-y type of thing. But since I didn't stream last Friday or 2 Fridays ago, I thought I'd just continue with this. And then the last time I did that, it wasn't as popular as I thought it would be. All right, let's see. All right, more Russian from Balbulin. Let's see what this says. If he can, then you can too. All right. I kind of feel like you're like some sort of a. Well, it's one of two things. You're either like some sort of a, you know, whatchamacallits, like a wise kind of saying type of person, or you're just saying random things. Who knows? Good old internet. Anything goes. All right. It only seems harder in ZBrush than in 3ds Max. Well, I mean, harder is a relative term. I think I don't think you can do this kind of stuff in 3ds Max. I'm sorry. No way you can do any of this stuff in 3ds Max. You can do some other stuff that's cool. You can do some cool stuff in Blender. You can do stuff in 3ds Max. But some of the stuff, you know, just kind of doing this kind of rapid concepting is pretty impossible to do with 3ds Max. So So, but that said, I've used 3ds Max. I actually, it was one of my favorite programs when Windows NT came out. I was very much in line with the folks at, I think at the time they were called Discrete. I think it was Discrete, and then it became Avid, and then it became Autodesk. Did it become Avid? No, it didn't become Avid. I think it was Discrete, then it was Autodesk. So it was Autodesk at first. I don't know. Yeah, was it Autodesk? I don't remember. Like, does anybody remember the whole thing? I've got I gave away, and I had all the boxes of the stuff, and I gave it all away, like the old versions. I went to a 3ds Max forum, and I just said, hey, I've got these old versions of 3ds Max all the way back. I think it was 3 different companies. It was Discrete was one of them, and then there was another one. Oh, Connect? No, not Connect. Kinetics or something like that. What was it? See, now I need to remember. I'm going to check it out in Google. 3ds Max companies. Company history. Let's see if Google can solve it for us. 3ds Max history. Initial release was released as 3D Studio Max. There was a DOS version. I had that, which is kind of wild. And then they went to Windows. And I think they were one of the first companies that went to Windows. And let's look at the Wikipedia of it, if it says it. I don't know what these are probably the names of it, but I wonder if it gives the names of the companies. I'm completely going off on a tangent here. I'm so sorry, but I have to know. I think it was Kinetics. I think was the name of the company. So it was Kinetics for a while, and then it was Discrete, bottom, and then I think they went to Autodesk. And I think they started at Autodesk too. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. But yeah, Max is good. I think a lot of game companies use it. Man, there's just so many different programs now. There's Max, there's Maya, there is Blender. And I wish there was Blender when I was starting. Like, it was so hard to get all the stuff. I feel jealous for the kids today because they kind of can just get Blender. And you can do some amazing stuff in Blender. Amazing stuff. And it's free. Although, if you buy all the plugins and stuff, the price starts getting up there. But that's cool. The plugins are well worth the money. Like Box Cutter. Oof. So nice. But yeah, I've had a history with Max. I like it. I went from Max to Softimage, and then from Softimage to Maya. And then while I was in Maya, I also went to ZBrush. But honestly, I like working in ZBrush more than anything else. For my work, I use a lot of different programs, and I'm happiest when I am in ZBrush. Because I can get so much more done. I feel like it's more of a creative tool. And the rest of them are more like production type tools, which is not a bad thing. It's just I like being creative more. And then I like being a production kind of cog. But yeah, some people do amazing stuff with 3ds Max as far as hard surface. I know a few artists that use 3ds Max. But it's kind of one of those things where I should mention this too. Like whatever you learn on, like there's one program that's gonna, for lack of a better way to put it, bust your balls. Like there's gonna be one program that really, you spent a lot of time and learned and developed muscle memory, and you spent blood, sweat, and tears learning, and people tend to be very loyal to that. I mean, there's still Lightwave users out there, really healthy Lightwave user community. There's a very healthy Modo user community. There's a lot of programs, and the reason is because, you know, I mean, if you are busy, you don't want to be learning something new, so you basically will always fall back to the thing you're comfortable with, and that's perfectly okay. Because you want to maximize your time. I think this arm is good. Let's move on to the next one. Again, I'm just kind of little by little honing in these things. I think this one we're pretty much done with. I just need to pop some alphas in here to kind of break this thing out. What is this thing over here? Oh yeah, this is the underarm. I wonder if I could just completely omit this piece. I'll delete it if I don't need it. Where are you? There you are. What if I hide you? And yeah, I think I can just completely not use that piece, so it's gone. Delete. Goodbye. All right, we're good. And then I see some people are saying some stuff. Yeah, discrete to Autodesk. That's right. But there was a thing before that. I think it was called Kinetics or Connect, something with a K. Let me see if I can find that. Now it's going to bug me. I'm one of those people that loses sleep if I can't remember something. 3ds Max Kinetics. I think that's what the name of it was. Yeah, Kinetics. I was right. Let's see, Kinetics logo. I think I should, I mean, I have it somewhere. I've got the picture of all the boxes that I was giving away somewhere, but I don't know. Is it Kinetic? I don't know. Yeah, I think it was something like that. Connects or Kinetics or some weird name like that. All right. Yeah, you could do that as well, Joe. You could start your model in Max and bring it over to ZBrush and you know, do kind of more high resolution detailing on it. Well, if you want to do, well, let me put it to you this way: if you like what you're doing, you know, all the power to you. Continue to do it that way. But if you want to do your initial stuff in ZBrush, like if you want to start in ZBrush, watch the earlier editions of this and earlier editions of all of my streams, because I start in ZBrush. I basically just start the modeling in ZBrush, and you can get some nifty tricks on what to do there. If that's what you want to do. But if you're happy doing it the way you're doing it, then, you know, and you're getting good results, then that's great. You don't have to change anything. Just continue, you know, continue doing the way, continue doing things the way you're doing them. But if you do want to do your base modeling in ZBrush, and you can, and I do all the time, then watch my earlier streams and you can kind of see the techniques and stuff that I use to do it. Because I think with 3D modeling in Max, like you are restricted. And I see a lot of people that have started with like more of the traditional, and I don't want to say traditional, but more of like Max or Maya or Softimage or whatever. I see a lot of those artists going to different tools because, especially the really creative ones, because they feel their creativity is not, you know, they're spending a lot of time kind of tweaking around in the program, and you know, they might get ideas and they might have certain things that they want to do that they're not able to do in those programs, and so I see them doing a lot of sketching earlier in ZBrush to get the idea, and then they can load some stuff into Max or Softimage or other programs, and then do the detail work there, and then, you know, go back and forth. But yeah, I think ZBrush is the only program I have that I can, like if I was on a deserted island and I could only have one program, I think I could do a lot in ZBrush that I couldn't do in other programs. I mean, even the rendering, like, you know, if I had to, I could create layers and create a decent render. I wouldn't have a lot of the capabilities that I have in Keyshot or in Redshift for sure. However, I could do a lot of what I wanted to do. I could get some good concepts out just by using ZBrush. So that's kind of me. That's how I work. Of course, people are different, and if you're here, that means you're here to hear my opinion, and that's what it is. And hopefully, I mean, I don't know if that will work for you, but I just kind of wanted to mention how I work. Okay, more stuff in Russian. Oh my God. So you got Val Bulin, can you do me a favor just for kicks? Can you please type whatever you're typing in Russian into Google Translate and put the English versions? So I don't have to keep going back and forth. I mean, I did it a couple of times, but I think in the interest of time and the rest of the audience, maybe you can do that for me. Or not, it's up to you. Let's see, what was the other person saying here? Do I remember Bryce? I do remember Bryce, yeah. Bryce was pretty neat. I remember that whole company, Meta Creations. They had quite a few things. They had Poser, they had Bryce, they had Kai's Power Tools. You guys remember that for Photoshop? That was a big deal. Yeah, good old Bryce. I think I have a copy of it somewhere. They made Painter also. They did Corel. Well, now it's Corel Painter, but they used to be called Meta Creations Painter, and it came in a paint bucket. That was so cool. Remember those days just fine. Yeah, I kind of stopped using Corel Painter. Like I kind of kept up with it because I wasn't using it, but I kind of kept up with it just because I felt like I wanted to support the developers. But there was a version I bought that had pop-ups and stuff that I could, it took me forever to get out of the system. Was like getting sand out of your shorts after you go to the beach. And I'm like, I'm not going to be supporting you guys if you're going to do this kind of crap. I don't want you to be hiding things that are going to pop toasts up and interrupt my work. That's just not going to work for me. So I stopped supporting Painter and said goodbye to it. And instead of that, I am now using Procreate on the iPad, which I really like. It's pretty awesome. I still use Photoshop on the PC. They don't make Procreate for the PC, at least not yet. All right, let's see. You guys are seeing a bunch of stuff. Joe, you'll check that out. Okay, cool. Some full-scale life-size models for Transformers in Universal Studios and Hasbro. People use Lightbox. Cool. In Universal Studios and Hasbro, people use Lightbox. Oh, is that like an old program? I think it is, right? Lightbox is like a really old CG software. Is that what you're talking about, Joe? The ZBrush wheel. Okay. Here we go again. So, I mean, it's totally fine. Don't feel bad. The ZBrush, this thing that I pop up, this is not ZBrush. This is actually something from Wacom. So, Wacom, in the Wacom settings, and I'll bring that up. So if you have a Wacom tablet or a Cintiq or some sort of a Wacom tablet, and I don't know if it works with the non-Intuos tablets, but basically it's this radial menu that you can create in the Wacom tablet properties. So you just basically go in here, and here's my ZBrush one, and then you can basically just assign each one of these quadrants. So there's 8 of them. You can assign each one of these quadrants to a keystroke. So like for me, 1 is mask pen, 2 is move, 3, 4, 5, etc., etc. So I've basically assigned these quadrants each to a keystroke, and each one of those keystrokes is a different brush in ZBrush. And I've mapped that to this 3D mouse. So this is the 3D mouse from, not 3D mouse, 3D stylus or 3D Pro Pen. Let me use the exact name for it. And you can use that with the Intuos tablets. And so it's got the regular 2 buttons up here, but they've removed their eraser, which nobody uses. And they've added that kind of button down here as a nice big button. And I basically just press that when I'm using ZBrush, and then I can get to these 8 brushes very, very quickly. And also, so that's my primary way of getting to brushes. I can use hotkeys, but I kind of will have to look away from the screen to use the hotkeys. But this way I can just see this on the screen and pick it, so it's kind of a quick palette. But I also have my kind of second set of brushes mapped to a hotkey, which I also don't have to look at the keyboard to get. And then I also have a third set of brushes, which has all of the brushes that I use on another hotkey. So I basically, between these three, I can get the brush that I want. But this is a pretty fast way for me to get the brushes. I think I've mentioned this in every stream and everybody asks, and I'm more than happy to answer this question because this really kind of is one of the things that I use all the time. And it definitely has helped my workflow a lot. And yeah, and there are videos out there on how to do this. It's pretty straightforward. Okay. How's Maya doing? Maya's doing great. A lot of, I mean, if you're working in any production, Maya is the tool of choice. Most studios use Maya. Most students learn Maya in schools when they want to go into production. Maya is very well embedded in the entertainment industry. It is part of a lot of productions. There's a lot of custom stuff that's written around Maya. So Maya is very, very, is definitely kind of the tool of choice. I don't think you can be in the visual effects industry if you don't know something about Maya. So yeah, and the Maya is great. I mean, funny enough, though, I haven't upgraded since 2019. I paid the yearly thing, and I have a perpetual license of it. But when they went to subscription only, I kind of said, okay, well, I'll pay for the subscription if you add a feature that I need. And that hasn't happened yet. So we're 3 years in, and I still haven't seen a feature that I need to upgrade my Maya for. So I'm still in 2019. And funny enough, most companies that I work with in the industry are still on 2019 as well, so not a big problem. And if I have to get Maya 2000 and I think 23 is the latest version for anything, then I can subscribe as a, when I was doing freelance, but I do have it at work. I do have a subscription at work, so I can use my work license as well for work, and that is Maya 2023. But yeah, I think Maya's pretty, I don't think Maya's going anywhere. I think it's pretty well embedded in the industry. It's a great tool. I think Blender might be making some headway towards it, but that's way, way years off. There's a lot of custom code, a lot of pipelines that are written around Maya, so it's not going anywhere for a long time. Okay. I don't even know, I think I've never used that Lightbox software. That's funny. Interestingly enough, I think Max, from a user number perspective, I think there's more Max users than there are Maya users. I'm not sure about that, but I think Max is used for architecture. And Max is big in games. So a lot of game companies use Max. I know Blur Studios is pretty well entrenched in 3D Studio Max. They've been a Max user for a very long time. So a lot of game companies use Max, and a lot of architectural firms that do architectural visualization use Max. So Max is really big too. It's like there's not going to be one software to rule them all. Going back to the rings of power discussion, I think it's just going to be a bunch of different companies that have different software packages, and they're going to update them or whatever. But yeah. But boy, did I kind of, when I got to ZBrush, I stopped there. This is it for me. I'm good with just this being my primary tool. Even though I know the other one's enough to be dangerous. And I mean, here's the other thing too. If you know your concepts, your 3D concepts of what like topology is and what different commands are. Like if you know what a blend shape is, it's the same thing in different software. You just have to know how that works. Like you know what rigging is. There's rigging in Maya, there's rigging in Max. They might do it a little bit differently, but the principles behind it are the same. Some are better, some are not. Some are better for some users, some are better for others. So competition is a good thing. And until some software comes out with a really intelligent way of doing something that nobody else is doing, then that software will get an edge for a while, but then the other software companies will adapt and the game will continue. But yeah, I was really bummed when they killed Softimage though. That sucked. There were a lot of Softimage users, some amazing artists that were Softimage users, and all those people had to move to some other things. Some still use it. Some basically still use it until today, and they love it. So, how about Substance Painter? Yeah, Substance Painter is great. I love that too. Same story. I did not upgrade until they. When they went to subscription only, I did not upgrade. I stayed on the version that I had. So I have a perpetual license of it. I have to close this dialog box that comes up every time I start it, which is annoying. But again, for work, I am subscribed. I do use Substance Painter for work, and there they do have a subscription for me, so I just use it there. And that's also another thing where, you know, Substance Painter, if you're a student, you can get it for almost nothing, if not free. So, yeah. And Adobe bought those guys, and I think they're doing really good. They're continuing to do some great stuff. So you can see that if a company buys a company like that, it's not going to be a bad thing. It's actually going to be a good thing. And if you want to get a perpetual license for that, you can still get it on Steam, right? Okay, so one thing I don't really like here, and I don't know why, but like just from a design perspective, this cut line going this way is not working for me. And I know I did this last time and I spent some time on it, but this top part here is not working for me. So I've got to figure out a way. Because if you really think about it, like nobody would have a cut line going, I guess they would, car trunk or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too fussy. I'll just leave it be for now. That's the weird thing about like when you're designing while you're working. This is one of the challenges. Is that since you're always designing, always kind of changing the design, like if you are working on something and you think it looks good, you'll come back to it and go like, oh man. And since you can change the design as freely as you can in ZBrush, sometimes it's a bit of a challenge, but not a big one. All right, so this is looking okay. I think I'm going to need to do a little bit more work on this arm, but I want to see how are we doing on time? Oh my gosh, we got a half an hour left. Not too bad. I'm going to try and make this part a little bit bigger. Maybe just kind of have it start from here. There's no reason to add a whole other. There we go. Yeah, Lightwave's still around. They're updating it. There's still a new version of Lightwave. Believe it or not, it's still a thing. And there still are artists that are like diehard Lightwave users. I remember I used Lightwave first on my Amiga years and years ago, and that was great. And I think a lot of the artists either are from that world or, I don't know, they somehow have a affinity to it, and that's what they do. Hey, Henry, thank you very much. Odin, thank you very much as well. Damn, we got a lot of people watching today. Welcome, 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 one and all. I stream every other Friday, and we'll be doing 2 streams in November and 2 streams in December to close out the year. And then I still haven't put in my schedule for the new year, but I'm pretty much sure that I'll be doing that as well. So I think what I'll do is I'll just basically have this Mech be the project until the end of the year, and then when next year starts, 2023, I will do a new project. How about that? Kind of doing a little bit of work over here, but I don't think this part is seen once I add the balloons. I don't know. Here we go. Germace, thank you very much. And again, welcome from Brazil. Seems like today is Brazil Day. I think there was another person here from Brazil as well. Maybe you guys can meet each other somewhere and get a beer. What's a good beer in Brazil? Like every country like I go to has a great beer. Like Costa Rica, it was Imperial, I think. It was really good. Peru, it was something else that was really good. Japan, amazing beers. I think my favorite beers that I've had have been in Japan. And they have more alcohol too, which is an added bonus. San Miguel is the one. Okay, so that's what it is. I can probably get it here. I'm going to go try it. I'm going to try San Miguel. If you tune in next time, I'll tell you if I tried it and if I like it. There's a place here that has all beers from all sorts of countries. They even have the one I had in Tahiti, which is, what was it? I forget the name, but they had a good beer as well. All right, so San Miguel is the best. I'm going to write it down so I don't forget. And I am going to go get some. Like, is that the common beer? Is that like what everybody drinks? Is that, or is that like a specialty beer? So is that like, you know, like, I mean, I hate to say it, but is that like Budweiser? Like in the U.S., Budweiser is kind of the king of beers. Which, you know, I mean, everybody drinks it, but I don't consider that as a good beer. Oh, wow, 100 messages. Nice. Cachaça and much more. Okay, so there are a lot of different beers. Well, I mean, if you know, I think if you have one good beer, like if it's just the standard beer is decent, that's great. Like I would like that to be the case. Like at least have one standard beer that's inexpensive and is good, right? So that's kind of your everyday beer. And then if there is one that's kind of specialty one that you have to pay a little bit more for, you know, that you have for special occasions or whatnot, that's cool too. A lot of my friends are like microbrew. They like microbreweries. There's a really good one in Santa Monica here that I go to every once in a while, called Santa Monica Brew House or something like that. They have some good beers, but again, that's kind of specialty beers. They're a little bit more expensive. Yeah. ZBrush and beer and tea. All right. After the ZBrush Summit, I'll be able to use some beer. I'm getting ready for it. It's a lot going on at work too. So, you know, it just kind of things double up. I'm getting tripped up by this one image. Yep, I don't want to save right now. I'll save at the end. We are kind of short on time, so I'm going to just not worry about it crashing. Of course, now that I said this, the crash gods are like gathering clouds. All right. Inventify 3D missed me. Oh, from last Friday. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I I was at Lightbox Expo here in LA, and it happens once a year, and it's one of my favorite things to go to. Get to meet up with a lot of friends and whatnot. So just because I was there, I didn't think I was going to be making it back in time. So I had them remove me from the schedule. But the good news is I did three streams last month. So this month, October, is just going to be a one stream wonder. And also, I'm still. It's so funny. I was looking at some clips for 3D Connection for the ZBrush Summit from a stream I did a while back. I think the stream before this one, and I was talking about doing a Twitch, my own Twitch stream then, and I still haven't gotten around to it. I guess I'm kind of lucky because I'm busy at work, but on the other hand, it'd be nice to do a stream with Pixelogic one week and then do my own stream on Twitch the week after. I don't know. One of these days. I'm going to get a tweet deck. I'm going to do the whole 9 yards. Get a big neon sign behind me. I'm not going to do that. I'm just joking. But, like, you know, get a gaming chair, get a headset, get a blue hair wig or something like that, and do the whole kind of streamer thing. Now, it'll probably be exactly this, but I might use some other software besides ZBrush. Probably would be mostly ZBrush though. But I don't know. We'll see. It all depends on time. All right, I think I'm good with this arm. Let's see. With the legs, I'm kind of happy with this part, and this part over here, it's kind of weird. I'm kind of making it look like those kind of running things, but again, this thing is going to be propelled by this arm, like these are jets. They're going to fall up, and also remember it's got these two balloons that basically hoist it up. So you know, it just basically is going to be flying along, and then when it lands, these are going to be digging into something or just balancing it out. So I haven't figured out how to pose this yet. I probably will do a pose, but for the composition, I probably will just be doing the kind of the same kind of thing, like maybe it's just hovering over something, and I'm figuring out what this thing is going to pick up. I have some ideas that came up that I think would be cool. So I might have it be picking up like big heads of statues or something like that. So I'm still figuring all that out, but we'll have that figured out. I don't want to spend too much time on whatever it's picking up. But I do want to spend a little bit of time on these legs here and get them to be something a little bit more. I like the shape that they have, but maybe get them a little bit more refined. All right. Oh yeah, I'm going to be adding a lot of lights to it. I've already added, like, there's already two that are going to go here. There's one that's going to go over here. I'll probably, these are lights over here. And yeah, I'll be adding a lot of lights to this. So that detailing will happen next time. I think by next time, I think the modeling I'm pretty happy with. I don't think I need to do much more on here. I mean, I can probably work on this thing forever, but I need to cut bait at some point. And I think this is a good place to leave it. I just need to do some detailing. And once I start adding alphas, a lot of this stuff will look a lot better as well. But I need to kind of figure out what to do with these legs. I mean, I kind of like the gesture of it. Like, let me take the arms off. And just look at the legs this way. I mean, I think this kind of shape is good on its own. I think that's working for me. But I still kind of have to do something about this to make it look better. So I based the design of what's there on these like people that have these prosthetics that they put on. So this thing can kind of, I mean, this thing would bend, of course, forward. And this would run on it, but I think I might. Let me see, this is Dynamesh. Oh, sorry. Oh, it is Dynamesh. All right, so let me see if I can do a bend deformer on it. See if that can add some more to it. Let's see, add some more. That's good. Did I add a bend deformer? What did I add? Let me try and bend curve. That's what I want. Okay. No, maybe it's bend arc. That's what I want. Sorry. I wonder if this kind of an angle would look better. See, this is the kind of stuff where I can't do this kind of stuff in Max. You know what I mean? That does look better right there. That kind of follows this curve better. That looks good. You know, this kind of stuff is kind of harder to do in Max. You know what I mean? Like just kind of this type of design work. Like it's in Max, if you kind of have an idea of what you're doing, then you can model it really well. But like doing this kind of design work is kind of tough, in my opinion. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure there's an artist that's going to prove me wrong. They'll have their own stream. They're like, Ara said you can't do it in Max, but here I am doing it. So there. But yeah, I think Max is great for if you like have a 2D image, like a 2D concept, and you want to make it in 3D, then you can do that easily. But to design in real time in Max, that's kind of harder, I think, in my opinion, to do it that way. All right. Am I going to rig this? I don't think so. I mean, the nice thing about these types of things is that like there's basically a few joints. Like there's a joint here, there's a joint here. So I can probably just use something like transpose master or whatever to do the rigging or to do a motion. But I'm not even going to put this in any kind of pose. I'm just going to be, it's going to be pretty much this, maybe carrying something. But if I did want to create a game with this, or if I wanted to animate it or whatever, I would definitely need to rig it, yeah. And I probably wouldn't rig it myself. I'd probably give it to somebody who would rig it for me. Just because I'm good at modeling, I'm good at designing, I'm not good at rigging at all. However, that said, rigging is becoming easier and easier and easier. So who knows? Maybe at some point, it'll be so easy that even I can do it. All right, this is Dynamesh. It should be Dynamesh. Why isn't it Dynameshing? All right, here we go. I'm going to do that trick again, where I'm just going to basically grab this resolution. So to pick the resolution of your Dynamesh, if you want it to be the same, you either click on this resolution and drag, or you can click on this picker and drag. You do exactly the same thing. And then just Dynamesh it. So now it's going to be at that same resolution that I had before. This doesn't have subdivision levels. No, nope. All right, and then let's just kind of make this more geometric. I like the kind of the curve that it's got, but it's still a very geometric shape. So I'm just using this clip curve to get more straight lines here. Get a little bit more kind of geometric, and I probably let me inflate this a little bit, just a tiny bit, because it's getting really thin at the bottom. So maybe about that much. Again, I'm not really super happy with how this has turned up, but I think I'm just going to keep hacking at it until I get something I like. But by next time, I should have it pretty much done. I'm going to take a little bit of time on a weekend or something just to work on this a little bit more, so we don't have to continue to model it, because we don't really have too many streams. We have maybe about 4 left, and I want to see if I can... this is kind of a challenge, by the way, what I just did. is if you're going to use the clip curve on an inside part, it's going to do this. So in order to not have that problem, what you do is you turn off symmetry, you hide and delete hidden, that one part on the right. So delete hidden, and then you do it to this part, and then you just mirror and weld it. And since it's just one dynamic subdivision level Dynamesh, that should not be a problem. So I'm just going to kind of work on this on one side and then go to the other side after. All right, let's see. Any other things? Yeah, clip with Dynamesh is one way of doing it. Starting out with a cube and then using QMesh as well in ZModeler is another way. Yeah, definitely. And then you can, you know, I mean, like if I wanted this to be decent topology, I shouldn't say excellent topology, but decent topology, and I don't want to retopologize it, ZRemesher now is also, it also works with hard surface edges. So what you do is, let's say right now this is just a, you know, it's kind of a, you know, not a really, you know, you can see some triangles and whatnot here that you don't want. So if I want to do this, I just go to ZRemesher, and I'll say detect edges, and let's keep it at about the same poly count here and do ZRemesh. And then you can see here that I've got, you know, decent topology, and I can continue to H-polish this more to get those sharp edges, right? So how cool is that? And you can continue to ZRemesh it again to get better and better as time goes on. And it does a pretty decent job. And you can also do creasing as well. Creasing helps. But the thing is, like you saw me do the gesture, right? So that's going to be a little bit harder to do in Max, but you can do it. You can do it with selections, like you basically will have to select the thing you're working on, and then you know, use the gizmo or whatever to bend it around. But yeah, but the clip brush definitely gives you some good hard surfaces, but also kind of gives you a little bit of the, you know, organic as well. So there we go. So I've been using this clicky keyboard from Logitech that I really like, but I also am going to, at work I use the 3D connection keyboard. And when they sent that to me, I was just like, yeah, it's just a keyboard, but it's actually not bad. And I shouldn't say it's not bad, it's actually really good. And I like it a lot. I use it at work, and I'm even considering using it here as well. Because I like the clicky keyboards, they're great, but one of the things that I really like about that other keyboard is that the company listened to a suggestion that I made. So what I do is, you know, I use gaming keyboards, and in gaming keyboards you can turn off the Windows key, and you can turn off the caps lock key. Like there's software to do that. And so I told them, I'm like, hey, you know, I use a gaming keyboard just for that reason. And they're like, no problem. And they basically implemented it in their driver. So you can disable the Windows key, and you can disable the caps lock key. And it's just a simple toggle. I love it when companies listen to artists. I love it when they do that. I mean, and it was just a very simple thing to implement on their part. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I don't know what it took, but they did do it. And I am appreciative of that. And this, you know, this keyboard that I have, the Logitech one, you can disable them as well. But other keyboards that you can't disable them on, I take a screwdriver and pop those keys out. Because like it's really annoying if you press them. Like it's really annoying if you press the there. That looks a lot more kind of industrially designed. And let's see what it looks like mirrored. It looks like Long John Silver. It looks pretty peg-leggy. I'll have to bulk this thing up somehow. Turn symmetry on here. But yeah, I like it when companies listen to artists. I really do. Companies that listen to artists really do well, because all the new people that pick it up, you know, intuitively do the things that they would do, and if the software, the hardware supports it, that didn't look too good. And if the hardware and software supports it right off the bat, and they don't really have to think about it, then that's going to make them like it more. All right. Joe, you're welcome anytime. Please join us again if you can. Again, we do this every other Friday. Also, I'll be on. The next time I will be on is going to be Friday, November 11. Okay. And by the way, if you guys don't remember that, you can always go to the schedule. And it's always a good idea to do that. You can always go to the schedule here. So if you go to ZBrush Live, where are you? Here we go. If you go to pixelogic.com/ZBrushLive/calendar, right, that's where ZBrush Live stuff is. And you can see here in the calendar where the sessions are. And you can see that I'm going to be back on, if you say load more. November 11, where are you? I'm not on here. That's weird. Oh, am I looking at the right thing? Oh, I'm looking at agenda. I'm not looking at the calendar. All right, let's go to November. All right, November 11th, and it is not there. I'll have to let them know to update that. So I'm glad I checked. So I'll be on 11th and 25th is when I'll be on. And they don't have it on here, but I will make sure, let me make note of that to make sure to let them know to update the calendar. So that's probably the best way to go to see it. And I'm on from 7 to 9 p.m. On the Fridays. So yeah. I know they're implementing a new way of us scheduling these. So it might be that it kind of fell through the cracks with that new scheduling system, but I'm glad I saw it, and I will let them know, and they will definitely update it to reflect the new, or the, you know, my appearances on there. I wonder if I could get away with no. All right, so now I've got this, and I kind of like the shape this way, and it's okay this way. I think it'll work. So now I can even harden it up a little bit more by just going down in resolution. So if I just go to this, bring up this, right, there it is. And what I can do here is I can go to half on the ZMesher and just keep reducing the topology and reducing it and reducing it until it gets to a point where it's not going to reduce it anymore. And I think we're getting closer, but not there yet. And then I can go in and start deleting loops. So here, I'm just going to go to a smaller brush, go ZModeler, and start just deleting edge loops. And the topology works, so I'm just going to get closer and closer and closer. Is using dynamic subdiv? It is. So see, I want this to be more kind of like a hard surface shape. So I'm just removing all those edge loops that kind of give it that curvature. And because I want this part to be straight. So here we go. And I want this part to be curved. So I'm going to start removing these ones. Nope, I'm going to keep that one. I'm going to remove these. No, maybe this one. Yeah, there you go. And then just kind of continue to remove these ones. And there's a way to straighten these out too. Like if I don't like them being curved like that, I can straighten them out. Basically all I'm doing here is just reducing the number of polygons that are going around. And by doing that, what I'm doing is creating more of a hard surface this way, and then I can also do it this way as well. So I can just get rid of this one. I keep hitting Alt, polygrouping this, because I'm not using delete. I'm just actually pressing delete and doing the insert, which doubles as delete. So now this is looking more like a hard surface shape. And I can just ZBrush this again, and then it will maintain that shape, but give me topology that's distributed. Right, so there it is. And then when I dynamically subdivide this, I should say always yes, I get that. And if I want to add a dynamic subdiv, I want to add a Q grid to it, I can get it to be a little bit more faceted. I'm going to turn constant off here. And I can get something a little bit more faceted, maybe give it a Q grid of 1 and play around with the coverage. Q grid of 2. Right, so now it's looking a little bit more hard surfacey. And then I'm going to apply this and then re-Dynamesh it, or I'm sorry, re-ZBrush it. And let's see what that will give us. All right. I usually stay a little bit longer, but I can't today because I got a thing from work that came up that I need to jump on after this. So I'm going to end this exactly at 9, but we have about 5 more minutes. So if you guys have last minute questions to ask about this, now would be a good time to do it. And other than that, I will wish you all a good day, night, whatever time it is where you are. Again, thank you for tuning in. You should tune in to watch some other streamers as well. There are other streamers that do other types of streams. I know mine are more hard surface and mech and robotics related. But there are a lot of them that do creatures. There are people that do jewelry design. There are people that do insects and animals and whatnot. Eric, my friend, does that, and it's pretty amazing, some of the stuff that he does. And sometimes they cross over, so sometimes he does bugs, but as jewelry. So that kind of is pretty cool. He does some really great kind of pieces as jewelry. Of course, there's always a lot of monsters and creatures. There's a lot of really... Ashley does some amazing kind of stuff as well. Wow, look at this. It ZBrushed it, but it's really dense. So I'm going to ZBrush this at half just to get back to that lower resolution. So yeah, Ashley does some great stuff. Anna Carolina does some great stuff. Shane Olson always does amazing creatures. Pablo does always has stuff that you can learn something from. Same with Mike Pavlovich. So a lot of great streamers. This is a great channel to tune into, all things ZBrush. So yeah, and if you guys liked this type of stuff, tune back in when you can. Again, live is better because you can ask questions, but this will be recorded and will be on Pixelogic's. I keep saying that. It will be on ZBrush's YouTube channel from this point forward. Okay. 21.7.1 version that, and not the new one, I guess. Comment Reapers, I don't know what you mean by that. You should be able to download the latest version. What's the problem with your older version? You shouldn't be, with ZBrush, if you own it, you can upgrade for free, now, at least. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but for now you can. So it's always a good idea to be on the latest version if you can, but production-wise, you might need to be on an older one. I don't know. And the way it works is that files created in the newer version of ZBrush don't work on the older versions, but files created in the older versions work in the new version. So that is an important thing to know. All right, so I think I'm pretty happy with the way this looks, and I'll have to figure out a way to put pistons or something over here to kind of manage this little area. But yeah, I think we did some good amount of work here on the arms, just kind of tighten it up. I think we're pretty close here to just putting some alphas on there next time, and then the time after that, hopefully I can work on the geometry and load it into Cinema 4D and then Redshift, and then do maybe some BDB clouds or whatever, and render it there. All right, folks, with that, thank you for tuning in, and we will hopefully see you next time. Take care, peace, and happy